Hey, let's take a look at your last question on your practice test. It says line L contains the points -5, 6 and 1, -6. And point P has the coordinates 6, 4, and we want to find the distance between this point and the line. Well, I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to represent this in a sketch. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want you to graph this so you can kind of see where things correspond. So I've got -5, 6. And 1 and -6. And I have a line going through those 2 points. And then what happens is I've got this other point, 6, 4. And I want to find the distance between this point and the line. Well, that distance is going to be at a perpendicular distance. So if I would kind of sketch, I don't even know exactly where it's going to be, but I'm going to say, about here. So I want that to be about a right angle. That's not quite a right angle, is it? Let me redo that. I think my 6, 4 is off a tad too. So I think I'm going to erase the 6, 4. I'm going to rewrite that. That's more like 6, 4. That's probably not quite. It's not far enough away. So there's 6, 4. Now I'm going to draw in my perpendicular distance, and I want to find the length of that segment. But in order to find the length of that segment, I need to find the coordinate to this point right here. In order to find the coordinate of this point, I need to start with my original line. So I'm going to find the slope of my original line. Well, remember, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to go x, y, x, y. So we're going to say -6 minus 6 all over 1 minus a -5. Well, when we subtract a negative, we end up adding. So you get -12 over 6. So we get a slope of -2. Now let's write the equation of this line. So I have 2 points. I'm going to pick 1 point. So I'm going to say y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I'm going to use 1, -6. I could have used -5, 6, but I'm going to use 1, -6. So I'm going to say y minus a -6, which is the same thing as y plus 6, equals -2 times x minus 1. I'm going to rewrite this in slope-intercept form because I need to find the coordinates of my intersection, so it's easier if it's in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to say y plus 6 equals -2x plus 2. We get that when we distribute. Then we subtract 6 from both sides. So we get y equals -2x minus 4. So that's the equation of my first line. Now let's take a look at the line, my purple line from 6, 4. I'm going to write the equation of that. Since it's perpendicular, I know the slope is going to be the opposite reciprocal of my first line. So the slope of my first line is -2, so the opposite reciprocal of that is 1/2. So now I'm going to rewrite my equation, not rewrite, I'm going to write my equation using the point 6, 4. So we're going to say y minus 4 equals 1/2 times x minus 6. Well, I'm going to rewrite that in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to distribute my 1/2. So we're going to say y minus 4 equals 1/2 x minus 3. And then we're going to add 4 to both sides. So y equals 1/2 x plus 1. And that kind of looks like what that line should be, because notice the line is going up. And it could cross about 1, although I don't have any grids because I'm kind of freehanding this. Now I want to find the coordinate of this point right here. So what I'm going to do is, that point is on both lines, so I'm going to set my two lines equal to each other to solve for x. So we're going to say negative 2x minus 4 equals 1/2 x plus 1. Now I don't like fractions, so I'm going to clear the fractions by multiplying each term by 2. Each term is separated by a plus sign, a minus sign, or an equal sign. So you get negative 4x minus 8 equals x plus 2. Well, let's solve for x. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 4x to both sides. That way my x is positive. So then we're going to get negative 8, because when you add negative 4x and 4x you get 0, equals x plus 4x is 5x plus 2. Well, let's subtract 2 from both sides. So then we get negative 10 equals 5x. You divide both sides by 5, x equals negative 2. Now we have to go back and find y. You can use either equation. And since I don't like to work with fractions, I'm going to use this equation, the first one. So I'm going to say y equals negative 2x minus 4. Well, in this case, y is negative 2, so I have negative 2 times negative 2 minus 4. So I get 4 minus 4, which is 0. So in other words, the coordinate of my point where those two intersect is negative 2, 0. I got kind of lucky in how I guessed that. So this point right here is negative 2, 0. Now we can finally find the distance. So to find the distance between 6, 4 and negative 2, 0, we use the distance formula. I think I'm going to write my coordinates here so we can see it. So to find the distance, we're going to say subtract the x's and subtract the y's. So your two x's are 6 and 2, so we're going to say 6 minus 2 squared plus 4 minus 0 squared. Oops, I almost messed up. That's negative 2, isn't it? So 6 minus a negative 2. So that's actually the same thing as 6 plus 2 squared minus, well, let's see, 4 minus 0, that's 4 squared, isn't it? 6 plus 2 is 8. So we get 8 squared minus, what's 4 squared? Well, 4 squared is 16. So we get 64 minus 16. What is 64 minus 16? I think we'll use a calculator on that just to be on the safe side. Got to find it though. There we go. So we go 64 minus 16. We get 48. So we get the square root of 48. Now there's two ways to answer this question, because I didn't tell you how to answer it. One, So we can just use the decimal. So take your calculator out and take the square root of 48. And the square root of 48 is about 6.93. The other way is make a factor tree. Simplify the square root of 48. Well, the square root of 48 is the square root of 16 times the square root of 3. Well, the square root of 16 is 4, so the exact answer is 4 radical 3. The approximate answer is 6.93. No matter how you do it, either way is correct, because I didn't tell you how to do that. So let's review what we did here. First thing we did is we're given our points. I plotted them on the coordinate grid so we can see visually what we have to find. We're going to have to find the distance between the point and the line. So I'm going to draw a perpendicular line there from my point to the line. I'm going to make sure that's a perpendicular distance. I'm going to find the equation of my first line. So to find the equation of the first line, you have to find the slope, and then write your answer in slope-intercept form. Take the negative reciprocal, or the opposite reciprocal of your slope, to write the equation of your perpendicular line. And you know it has to go through your point. Set your two lines equal to each other to solve for x. Substitute x into your equation to solve for y. Now you got your 2 points. Then use your distance formula to find the distance between your 2 points.